trigger happy and I give less than a fuck. Love me or hate me, I'ma show enough, rip shit up. It's Mr. Nothing, nice on a mic stand. Mic in the left and the zest in my right hand. I took a puff, had enough now, hold up. If that was Indo, niggas getting rolled up.
What's going on, folks? This is Acid Roots. I'm going to review brokeNCYDE's third album, Guilty Pleasures. Now, this originally came out in 2011 as Guilty Pleasure, but they released an expanded edition of it in early 2012 called Guilty Pleasures. Basically, it has 3 additional songs, or 3 updated songs, and 1 new song. One of those 3 is a new song, and Never Back Down with Deuce, and that's kind of the concept there, is just paying attention to some of this stuff. Really, it's been a couple years since I've reviewed brokeNCYDE, so I listened to I'm Not a Fan, but the kids like it quite a bit, their 2009 album, but I don't listen as much to like Will Never Die from 2010. I mean, I think it's a good album, but for some reason I felt like their 2009 album was more noteworthy. But this is definitely, I mean, I don't remember what I scored the 2010 album Will Never Die, but this is definitely an excellent rendition, and it's definitely going to get a high score. There's just way too many high raving, high energy, high octane tracks on here to not denote and specifically pay attention to the sheer energy of this project. And they pretty much mastered like the Lil Jon crunk core sound that Lil Jon started doing in the early 2000s. I feel like at this stage is starting to become like emo crunk and just a bunch of songs in a rap sense and like an emo setting also. And that's kind of the concept of what a lot of this is. But they kind of toned down the screaming. I mean, it's just not there as much. Like some of these songs like Whoa and Phenomena and Magnum and like Party Don't Stop and Let's Dance, or maybe not in Let's Dance, but Ocean View. A lot of these are just really kind of rap track kind of songs. They really just kind of feel more like rap songs, less like kind of pseudo blend of rock and kind of crunk core. They just really feel like crunk this time around. There's just a good portion of this project just has playing crunk, less crunk core, and more just crunk on there. So that's kind of the concept. But if you do appreciate their old 2009, 2010 days, like Teach Me How to Scream and some of the records from I'm Not a Fan, but the kids like it, there are a few on here. Like Never Back Down with Deuce is a great one. Still the King is a great one, and Doing My Thing is a great one. So there's at least a few, but there's just not nearly as many. They really try to take this newfangled rap approach, and it works pretty well. I mean, a lot of this is the sort of music that I wish like certain standard rappers would kind of have, because they really do have a good ear for production. That's one thing, or that's definitely a plus I can give this group. And it's not like I don't have many problems with brokeNCYDE. I know they've kind of been critically panned by most people, but they really do make eventful music, and that's kind of the concept. There's a lot of folks like they're kind of like a more emo version of LMFAO in a lot of ways. If you were to just take LMFAO, add like an emo haircut and kind of some more just like Lil Jon sounding production that's not quite as EDM sounding, you would probably have brokeNCYDE at least on this 2011 album. Now they do like, they had 5 music videos. I feel like brokeNCYDE, I don't know how large they were to the point where they were released as singles, but there were at least 5 music videos, so I'll talk about those. Those 5 were Phenomena with Paul Wall, Whoa, Never Back Down with Deuce, The Party Don't Stop, Still the King. Yeah, I think that's 5. So all of these are great. I mean, really, Phenomena and Whoa are both really great club songs that just kind of have like a real kind of something that you would think from like a Lil Jon production or some other folks. If you can think of some producers that are similar to Lil Jon's production and Dirty South kind of hip hop, you would kind of figure out some of these beats. And it's really a good scenario for these folks. It really works out extremely well in terms of the catchiness. Never Back Down is probably the craziest club song on here. Basically, it just goes complete carnage. It's one of the more ferocious songs I've heard in a long time. Problem with it is the version on Spotify does not seem to have Deuce on there, but the one with Deuce is pretty excellent. I definitely like that one, and I bought this CD not too long ago, and I'm kind of hoping that that version is the one with Deuce that I got, because that would be very excellent. But it's just an overall crazy song. There's nothing complete. There's nothing stoic or sobering about it. It's just really, if you are looking for a song to have like for a weekend number, that's definitely sufficient. The Party Don't Stop. The Party Don't Stop is basically their attempt at LMFAO. I feel like this is, if you were to take a song like Party Rock Anthem, it's not quite as crazy as Sexy and I Know It by LMFAO, but definitely something like Party Rock Anthem. And you take, like I said, you take more of like a crunk approach and just add like some kind of mellow singing that's not quite as catchy as the LMFAO stuff. That's what Party Don't Stop would be. And they do this again. brokeNCYDE does this again on the song Ocean View. So those are kind of like some mellow kind of trying to be LMFAO type styles that are just kind of more sing-songy like Drake was kind of doing. But I mean, Drake didn't do crunk, but just kind of the sing-songy. I mean, that's original for that time to get like the sing-songy rap songs and stuff. So, but then Still the King is a brilliant song. That's probably the second craziest song on this project, I would have to say. Not quite as crazy as Never Back Down, but pretty close. This is definitely, when I say on some album reviews that there needs to be like a follow-up song to a hit song I like, this is an example of when the musicians do that. This is definitely like a 1-2 punch. Never Back Down and Still the King are both brilliant music video singles, and that just happens to showcase the pure craziness of this project. So it definitely works. I mean, there's plenty to like about this project. I mean, for the most part, it keeps it pretty much full frontal in like a weekend setting. It's basically just a weekend album or something, going out or being social. But I feel like Ocean View is kind of mellow, and then Party Don't Stop is kind of like it, the party's almost over kind of single, where it's not quite amidst the craziness. It's more starting to wear down. But for the most part, mine is those two songs. Everything is just kept at like an eviscerating kind of pulse. And that's just the whole thing about it. The whole album is just packed to the gills with plenty of crunk, flirtatious, and overall carnivorous moments. That's great. That's the whole concept about it. It just really has a sheer energy that's just unmatched in most albums I've seen nowadays. Like, most folks will just do like two. Some folks will only do one, but some folks will do 2 or 3 cuts and then call it a day. But this album, I don't know why brokeNCYDE is so critically panned when this has the energy. There's just not many musicians, sans like Lil Jon or Busta Rhymes or Old Dirty Bastard, that kind of have like the energy of this group. It's something to be said that they are very much infectious, and that's kind of the concept. But I'm gonna go ahead and score this album. I'll list the songs for you. I'll list the songs for you out of 13 that I recommend. So the songs would be Burnin', Never Back Down, Phenomena, Whoa, Still the King, Girls, 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 Let's Dance, Magnum, You Mad Bro, Ocean View, and Fly Away. Now, basically, taking most of these songs, like, there's some other good beats that I really enjoyed, like Magnum and Fly Away. Those are some more, and Burnin', those are some more great ones. I mean, they really kick off this album with a real mean pitch. It just has quite the ferociousness towards it. I really feel like you've got to give them appreciation for just being able to get you amped and just totally excited and that type of stuff. Maybe the lyrics are not quite as Shakespeare as like some folks would want, but it definitely is a great substitute for just something where you don't have to concentrate and are just purely trying to socialize and have a good time. That's something to be said. It works. It definitely does. Paul Wall has a good feature on Phenomena. I liked him on there. E40 was on brokeNCYDE's first album. It's too bad that they didn't do another song with him. And the Dirtball from the Cottonmouth Kings is on here. I like that concept. I mean, they are on Cottonmouth Kings' record label. At least they were back then. And then Mickey Avalon, he seems like a cool cat. He had some albums, low-key albums back in the day, so he's affiliated with this project. And then there's a Trey Nice dude. I don't know who that is. But, yeah, the guests don't detract from the project. Definitely is a contribution even further. So the social score, I'll give a 9. Well, I'll give a 9 to the social score because it did have 5 singles and they were all outstanding. I mean, I didn't quite like The only two songs I didn't really like were just Party Don't Stop and Doing My Thing, but I respect Party Don't Stop. I just feel like LMFAO did that style better. And then I really didn't like the beat on Doing My Thing, but I forgot what I was gonna say. Like, yeah, I mean, I give this a 9 social because I felt like this could have gotten more recognition than it did. I still feel like this is kind of undercut and like the appreciation that brokeNCYDE gets, because they get a lot of hate. They do have haters and stuff, and it's too bad because this music, I listen to it and I'm like, how can you hate this? It really happens to be the concept. But yeah, 9 social, which means how well it plays around your friends or new folks you're trying to introduce. Lots of fun music videos, 5 of them. So there's plenty of stuff to go around there. The future, in terms of what brokeNCYDE has been up to, brokeNCYDE really hasn't been around since 2018. I think they've dropped like a couple here and there singles. I would like for them to come back because I would like a 2022 rendition of The Energy, something that goes back to either this project or I'm Not a Fan but the Kids Like It. Just both of those are really excellent. I get the feeling Will Never Die is probably pretty good also, but I feel like, you know, their 2009 album had more energy towards it. I appreciated that sort of stuff. It was just ferocious the whole way through. I think I remember giving that like a 9 out of 10. I'm Not a Fan album. But yeah, so that's the concept. So definitely pick this up. I think I said I gave it a 10 out of 10, but just to reiterate, yeah, this album gets a 10 out of 10, basically a perfect score. Brilliant the whole way through. Great social. Go out and pick this up and find yourself a nice weekend to have.